A phone that fully charges in 9 minutes, a camera so advanced it makes nighttime look like daylight, a screen that magically expands with a swipe. These aren't sci-fi gadgets, they're real Chinese smartphones outshining the iPhone and Galaxy in ways you wouldn't believe. Today, we're counting down 8 groundbreaking phones from China that, each in their own way, are beating Apple and Samsung at their own game. Strap in for stunning designs, jaw-dropping specs, and innovations that might just hint at the future of all smartphones. 8. Oppo X 2021, the shape-shifting rollable picture. You double-tap your phone's side and the screen starts stretching larger, as if the device is alive in your hand. That's the Oppo X 2021, a rollable concept phone that can literally expand its display on demand. Made by Chinese tech giant Oppo, this prototype stunned the world by ditching the traditional fold. Instead, Hidden Motors unfurl a flexible OLED panel from 6.7 inches to about 7.4 inches, morphing a regular phone into a mini tablet with zero folding crease. It's a jaw-dropping sight. One moment it's a pocket-friendly handset, the next it's a spacious screen for movies or multitasking. Oppo's rollable design is extraordinary because it solves a gripe with foldables, the crease. Here, there's no hinge down the middle. The display unrolls smoothly like a high-tech scroll. The mechanism uses a warp track laminate for strength and twin motors to extend or retract the screen evenly. It's all seamless and motorized. You just swipe or press a button and watch the phone grow. In a dark room, you might even feel like it's a scene from a sci-fi thriller as the panel glides out silently. Now, neither Apple nor Samsung has anything like this. Samsung's invested in foldable phones with its Galaxy Z Fold and Flip, but even those have a visible crease and fixed sizes. Apple, of course, hasn't stepped into flexible displays at all yet. The Oppo X 2021 shows a path beyond. Imagine an iPhone that could literally stretch its screen when you need more real estate. That's the kind of wild innovation Chinese firms are playing with. Being a concept, the Oppo X 2021 isn't a mass-market product. You can't buy it, at least not yet. But its impact is huge. It's got tech enthusiasts dreaming of a future where our phone elegantly adapts to our needs, scrolling Instagram in phone mode, then rolling out bigger for YouTube or work documents. No hinge gap, no trade-off, just a continuous display that adjusts size like magic. It's the kind of flexibility even Samsung's latest folds can only envy, and something Apple's rigid designs haven't approached. Beyond the party trick, Oppo ensured the device is fully usable. Despite the rollout screen, it supports normal Android apps and has sturdy build quality in hand. The rolling mechanism was tested extensively for durability. Oppo claims it can withstand many extend-retract cycles without damage. The concept unit didn't even have obvious volume or power buttons. That's how futuristic and minimalist it looked, as if saying the era of mechanical buttons could vanish next. The real win here is innovation. Apple and Samsung dominate smartphones by refinement, but Oppo is beating them by reinvention. A rollable display offers real consumer benefits. No crease line marring your view, the ability to have a compact phone that still gives you a tablet screen when needed, and pure tech spectacle that turns heads. For anyone watching the demo, it's easy to imagine reading an e-book on a larger canvas or showing friends a video on a tablet-like display, then sliding it back into your pocket like nothing happened. While the Oppo X 2021 remains a concept, it's a concrete promise that the next big leap in phones might come from China's tech labs. Samsung has teased its own rollable prototypes, but Oppo was among the first to show one working so slickly. If this becomes reality in a future Oppo or OnePlus device, Apple and Samsung will be playing catch-up in yet another form factor. Today, it's a mesmerizing prototype. Tomorrow, it could be the mainstream. The Oppo X 2021 tells us one thing loud and clear. The shape of phones to come might literally be shape-shifting, and China is leading that charge. 7. Realme GT3 240-watt charging battery Blitz. How fast is your phone's charging? Now imagine watching the battery go from nearly empty to 100% in the time it takes to brew a cup of coffee. That's the reality of the Realme GT3, the world's fastest charging smartphone. Realme, a rising Chinese brand known for value-packed devices, has unleashed a charging technology so rapid it feels like a superpower. 240 watts of charging muscle. Numbers on paper are one thing, but seeing it in action is unforgettable. The battery bar rockets upward before your eyes, fully recharged in just roughly 9 minutes. Yes, you read that right, under 10 minutes to full charge. This phone is a dream for anyone who's ever been tethered to an outlet, anxiously waiting for the percentage to crawl up. With the GT3, you blink and it's done. Apple and Samsung simply can't compete here. The latest iPhones top out around 20 to 30 watts charging, often needing over an hour for a full charge, and Samsung's flagships hover at 45 watts max. The Realme GT3 laughs at those figures, delivering nearly 8 times the power of an iPhone charger. Imagine waking up, realizing you forgot to charge your phone overnight, normally a disaster scenario before work. Plug in the GT3 while you shower, and by the time you're dressed, it's already at 100% and ready to go. That's borderline life-changing for heavy users. But the GT3 isn't just a one-trick pony about speed, it's a well-rounded beast of a phone. Under the hood, it's rocking a Snapdragon 8 Plus Gen 1 chipset, meaning flagship-grade performance snappy enough for gaming and multitasking galore. It sports a bright 6.74-inch AMOLED display with a 144 Hz refresh rate, even smoother than the iPhone's or Galaxy's 120 Hz screens. Scrolling and animations feel silky. And to complement that speedy charging, Realme gave it a decent 4,600 mAh battery. Not the absolute largest, but with such fast top-ups, battery size anxiety fades away. You can literally juice up for a whole day's use in the span of a short phone call. The design of the Realme GT3 also screams tech enthusiast in a fun way. On the back, it has a bold translucent window near the camera module with customizable RGB lighting, a little flare reminiscent of a gaming PC. The light can glow and pulse to notify you of messages, or while charging, it even acts as a progress indicator, changing color as the battery fills. It's a cool bit of personality that stands out from the more conservative iPhone and Galaxy designs. Realme is clearly courting the young and the restless here, those who want their phone to look as cutting edge as it performs. Now you might wonder, is such fast charging safe? Realme built in a ton of protections. 13 temperature sensors, multiple safety chips, and a design that keeps the battery healthy even under extreme wattage. They claim the GT3's battery will still retain 80% capacity after 1,600 charge cycles. That's roughly 4+ years of daily charging, which is reassuring. In comparison, many phones might drop more by that time, even at slower charging speeds. So not only is it fast, it's smart about it too. In real-world use, the GT3 changes habits. You no longer need to charge overnight, and perhaps you shouldn't since it's so fast. Just plug in briefly when needed. Quick pit stop at home or even a power bank for 3 minutes can give you a significant boost. It's addictive not having low battery anxiety. This advantage over Apple and Samsung is glaring. If you've used any recent iPhone, you know the pain of waiting nearly 2 hours for a full tank if you're using an older small brick. With the GT3, a few minutes of charging yields hours of use. It's like going from a garden hose to a fire hydrant. On top of all that, Realme prices the GT3 far more affordably than premium iPhones or Galaxies. You're getting bleeding-edge tech. 240-watt charger comes in the box, by the way, at perhaps half the price of a top-tier iPhone. This is a common theme. Chinese brands often compete on value. Apple and Samsung might offer other luxuries, but for a huge segment of users, especially in Asia and emerging markets, that price-to-performance ratio and convenience is a game winner. All told, the Realme GT3 exemplifies how Chinese smartphones are setting new standards. It addressed a universal pain point, slow charging, and obliterated it. After experiencing 240-watt SuperVOOC charging, it's hard to go back. It feels like the rest of the industry is standing still in comparison. Apple and Samsung consider yourselves put on notice. Nobody wants to be chained to an outlet, and the GT3 proves we don't have to be. 6. Nubia RedMagic 8 Pro, the mobile gaming beast. The scene. You're deep in an intense game. Graphics cranked up to max, yet your phone stays cool and buttery smooth while others start to lag. You even feel a faint hum of a tiny fan keeping things chill. This is the experience on the Nubia RedMagic 8 Pro, a phone that turns your pocket into a high-end gaming rig. Made by Nubia, a ZTE sub-brand from China, the RedMagic series is famous among gamers, and the 8 Pro shows why. It's built like a sports car for mobile gaming, outpacing the likes of iPhone and Galaxy in raw gaming performance and features. Let's start with power. Under the hood, the RedMagic 8 Pro packs the Qualcomm Snapdragon 8 Gen 2, the same top-tier chip you find in Samsung's best, but goes further by pairing it with up to 16 gigabytes of RAM, and even higher in special editions. That's as much memory as a laptop, and more than double what an iPhone 14 Pro has. It means the RedMagic can keep many apps in memory and handle the most demanding games without breaking a sweat. But raw specs are just the beginning. What really sets it apart is the active cooling system. Yes, this phone has a built-in cooling fan, complete with RGB lighting. When you fire up a heavy 3D game, you'll see, and faintly hear, the little fans spin up to whisk heat away from the chipset. Together with a vapor chamber and air vents, it keeps performance consistent for longer stretches. Where an iPhone might throttle down after some minutes of hardcore gameplay to avoid overheating, the RedMagic 8 Pro keeps pushing at full throttle. It's the difference between maybe winning and definitely winning in a long esports match. The RedMagic 8 Pro's display is another dream for gamers. A 6.8-inch AMOLED with a super high refresh rate up to 120 Hz and no notch or hole punch obstructing the view. It uses an under-display front camera, so the screen is a flawless edge-to-edge canvas. Samsung's Galaxy S series and iPhones still have cutouts or dynamic islands eating a bit of screen space. Not here. The immersive display, combined with a 720 Hz touch sampling rate, means every touch on the screen registers almost instantaneously, crucial for competitive gaming where split-second reactions matter. And unlike some dim gaming laptop screens, this one is vivid and bright enough to play outdoors. Then, there are the shoulder trigger buttons on the RedMagic side. These capacitive touch triggers act like L and R buttons on a console controller. Imagine playing a shooter or racing game and actually having physical controls for firing or drifting instead of awkwardly tapping the screen. It's a serious advantage, essentially turning the phone into a console controller hybrid. Neither Apple nor mainstream Samsung phones offer something like this out of the box. All of this sounds specialized, and it is, but it benefits everyday use too. The huge 6,000 mAh battery in the RedMagic 8 Pro, meant to sustain long gaming sessions, easily translates to all-day life for a regular user. And with 65-watt fast charging, in some models even 80-watt plus internationally, you're powered up quickly as well. Apple's iPhones often struggle to last a full heavy day unless you have the Pro Max, and they don't charge nearly as fast. Samsung's Galaxies do better on battery, but the RedMagic still outlasts many by brute capacity. It's the difference of going to bed with 30% left versus scrambling for a charger at 5%. In terms of raw performance metrics, this phone is a monster. It consistently scores at the top in benchmarks, even edging out iPhones in some graphics tests thanks to sustained throughput. For instance, graphically intensive games like Genshin Impact can run at max settings for extended sessions without stutter, something that pushes most phones, including some premium ones, to their limits or triggers frame rate drops. The RedMagic 8 Pro stays cool and consistent. The phone even provides a gaming hub software, GameSpace, where you can tweak performance modes, fan speed, and even overclock the GPU a bit, giving pro users fine control. It's like having a gaming PC control panel on your phone. Design-wise, the RedMagic embraces its gamer identity. The aesthetics are bold, sometimes offered in a transparent edition where you can see internal circuitry and the spinning fan with its LED glow. It has sharp rectangular lines, a stark contrast to the rounded curves of an iPhone. It feels almost cyberpunk. Surprisingly, it's not overly bulky. Nubia managed to keep it fairly sleek despite the cooling tech. When you hold it, you know it means business. Straight edges, a bit weighty but solid. It definitely stands out in a sea of identical glass sandwiches. Now, Apple and Samsung phones are of course very powerful in their own right. Top iPhones have super fast chips, and Galaxies have great all-round performance, but neither is optimized for gaming to this extent. They prioritize things like camera and slender design over raw gaming features. That's where RedMagic beats them. It caters to a passionate segment of users who want a handheld gaming console that's also a phone, and it does so at a price that often undercuts mainstream flagships. You could pay $1,200 for an iPhone 15 Pro Max, or roughly half of that, for a RedMagic that runs circles around it in game-centric metrics. For consumers, this means more choice. If you're a gamer or just someone who demands top performance, Chinese brands like Nubia are providing options that outclass the big names in key areas. No more compromises. You can have your high refresh rate, your monster battery, and your shoulder triggers too. And when you're not gaming, the RedMagic 8 Pro is still a great everyday phone with a decent camera and all the usual smartphone comforts. It just has an extra gear under the hood for when you need to unleash the beast. In short, the Nubia RedMagic 8 Pro showcases how China's phone makers are rewriting the rules for performance phones. Apple and Samsung might not have seen mainstream demand for active cooling or crazy RAM in phones, but Nubia identified a craving in the market and filled it. If mobile gaming is the future, think esports AAA titles on the go, RedMagic is already there, waiting for everyone else to catch up. Thank you for watching the video. Part 2 coming soon.